Welcome back to another episode of Everyday Crypto. So I've been feeling guilty because I haven't put out another video in quite a while. So I just came back from the Texas Bitcoin conference, which was a lot of good talks and a lot of good people. I think the biggest value I got was actually just talking to random people in the hallways. But there were some pretty good talks out there. But today, what I want to do, what I've been wanting to do for a long time, is to do a review of the best Bitcoin apps on iOS. Now, when I was at the Texas Bitcoin conference, I got to talk to Part1 and talked back and forth about all the pros and cons, and got into a bunch of the details of AirBitz, which is his company. And I was kind of waiting until more multi-sig wallets were available, but I think it's going to be a while, and I think the current wallets that are available today have a lot of compelling features and are usable. So I want to do a whole series of reviews of Bitcoin wallets, but today we're going to start off the series with, we'll call this part 1, and we'll do a review of AirBitz. So like I mentioned, AirBitz is this is the AirBitz app, so we should be able to see it on the screen here and on the video. So AirBitz does a lot of work to try and make a compromise between ease of use and security. So what they want to do, so this is the first time I've opened AirBitz on this app, on this iPhone, and we are going to create an account. So in AirBitz, it just asks for a username. So the username, we'll just call this test123. I don't know if this will work because we'll see. Okay, so the password requirement must have one upper, one lower, one number, 10 characters. Okay, so let's do ADSF and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll ADSF. Okay, so ADSF. 1, 2, 3, 4, ASDF. Okay. So we'll do our pin number, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is actually the most common pin, so don't really use that. We'll hit next. So creating and securing account. So enable camera access. So let's see, AirBitz needs us to scan QR codes and pay people and merchants. Okay, so we'll allow access to the camera. We'll say next. AirBitz would like access to your contacts. Okay, that's fine with me. Your username and password are known only to you and never transmitted or stored unencrypted. Write down and store securely. So it's going to show us our username and password. Okay, write it down. Next. So that's it for the kind of the walkthrough. Now, what AirBitz is kind of known for is in the directory. They want to use our location. We'll click allow, and so it's got a very nice directory. And they want to the areas that they pick to be good in. They want to be the best directory available. So I'm in the Austin area, so it's showing kind of Austin area type locations. Very pretty pictures associated with each merchant. Let's say I want to go to Hobby Hair and get a haircut. I see when it's open. I can even schedule an appointment. That's pretty cool. See if that takes me. I don't know. That doesn't seem to work. We'll go to receive. We can request Bitcoin. So let's request an amount of 0.0001. Or actually, that's 0.0001 millibits. So by default, it's showing millibits. Actually, let's, where is backspace on here? Delete. So 0.1 millibit. Let's see if I have 0.1 millibit on. So now I'm going to actually use my other phone here. And this phone actually does have AirBitz already installed. And I'm going to send. And so let's go next here. So I can present the QR code, so I can scan with the QR code, or let's say I can actually hit this Bluetooth button and scanning for Bluetooth requests. See if this works. So you actually have to have Bluetooth turned on the receiving phone for Bluetooth to work. Okay, so now I can actually say, Brianna's phone, which is my wife, say, oh, they are requesting payment. They're requesting 2 cents. So let's slide to confirm that. And so I just sent via a Bluetooth option was I able to send the payment information, and I was able to send 0.1 millibit to this phone. So now, interesting note is on both the receiving side and the sender side, it's saying enter a payee. So I can enter a payee, and it's going to pull from my contact. So it allows you to basically add additional metadata to each transaction. So let's go here. Let's say I'm just going to say done on this. So this is the receiving side. So now there's 2 cents received on this wallet. So right, there's receive, there's send, there's wallets. So now on the wallets, let's say I can add multiple wallets and I can name them. So I could say I could call one work. It's doing some serious crypto right now with the swirling dial, which is actually a very good thing because if it can re-encrypt the wallet very quickly, there's some maybe shortcomings. So let's look at the options. We can change our password. We can change our PIN. Now here's a very unique thing to AirBitz is it actually has recovery questions. So you can actually create a set of recovery questions that if you forget your password, you could use the recovery questions to recover your password. You can add name information. You can add two-factor security. So let's enter we have to enter our password, which is ASDF1234 ASDF, and we are going to enable. Okay, so now we have two-factor enabled. So what that means is no other phone can log in. So let's test that because I have my other phone here. So let's actually log out. Let's see if I can figure out how to log out. Log out. Let's go log in with password and use test123. Sure, we can delete that. Test123. Password is ASDF1234, capital A, D, F. So we'll log in. So I'm trying to log in to the same account that's on this phone with this phone. Now, interesting, I have two options. Now, let's say I completely lost this phone. So it was stolen, lost, and I didn't have any backup or any other phone. I had two-factor authentication enabled. Basically, I can request a reset of two-factor, but it will take 7 days to take effect. The other option is I can say, okay, scan token. So let's go into two-factor and enhanced security. I can actually scan that, and now that enabled two-factor. So now both of these phones are now logged into the exact same wallet. So I've got, you see that on both phones I have my wallet and a work wallet. So not only does it have access to the same Bitcoin transactions, is it also has some additional information that syncs between the accounts, and that's kind of done through the AirBitz network. There's a couple other things I wanted to show. in the AirBitz app. And let's try and show logging in with a PIN. So we'll use our PIN number 1234. Again, don't ever use that because that's not a safe PIN number. Now, one thing, so we've looked at the directory, we sent and received. Now let's go to my wallet. So in your wallet, let's see, there's the share button. We can share our wallet. We can actually export your wallet to a CSV file. You can export it to a private key, so you can print it or view it. Let's go down here. What if we click on that's the transaction detail. But I just wanted to show that you do have the option of exporting your wallet details and all your transaction information. And then let's cut to, okay, now here we're on the Everyday Crypto website. We're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and my Bitcoin link, or if you want to donate Bitcoin, it's a link, and you can tap that link, and it's actually going to pull up the AirBitz app. So you can see it's got that URL link kind of registered into AirBitz, so make it easy to pay directly from or out of Safari. So I think that's about it on AirBitz, on the wallet itself. So for those who want to stick around, we'll actually do a review of the cryptography and some of the security aspects of the AirBitz wallet. And then this will be the kind of part one of this, and for come back and check in a couple weeks. Hopefully we'll have some additional Bitcoin wallets reviewed. Bread wallet is on my list. I'm considering whether to do Mycelium or not. And if you have any other wallets that you think are worthy of the challenge to stand up to AirBitz and Bread wallet, please let me know in the comments. All right, if you're signing off at this point, please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And if for the security people out there, stick around. We will go through the security aspects of AirBitz. All right, well, thank you for sticking around. It's good that you're still here because security is critically important to the long-term success of Bitcoin. And it's our wallet vendors like AirBitz, Bread Wallet, and these guys that are paving the way for providing better security so end users don't lose their funds. And like I said, this is very important to me personally because I think security in general is one of the big barriers to widespread adoption by end users. Is if a user gets burned on Bitcoin, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of coaxing before they'll ever come back to it. So this is, again, very important. So for the people who don't want to get into the real guts, I'm going to do kind of high-level thoughts around this first, and then I'll try and dive deeper. Now, in the first video, I mentioned a compromise between security and ease of use. And I think there's always a compromise, but AirBitz has done there's very little compromise in this whole architecture. And there's actually key scenarios that are better with this kind of more, I guess, specifically the PIN logging is actually better security than some of the only on-device options. But ultimately it is a compromise, but a very AirBitz has done everything they can to make this as secure as possible without having to use a 12-word backup password. They want this to be a familiar experience for the end users to open AirBitz and use it like any banking app. So let's look at the components that make up AirBitz. So this is your iPhone or your phone, and it's connecting to 3 different services out here. Now the first one is the what AirBitz refers to as the SQL server. I don't know why they picked that name. I don't know if it's running Postgres or what services behind the scenes, but this is the Authentication Server that AirBitz uses. The second network that AirBitz logs into is the Bitcoin network directly. Now I believe it's a Bitcoin is composed of the original Bitcoin core client. Now there's alternate implementations. One is libbitcoin, another one is BTCD. They all, talk the Bitcoin protocol, but they're written in different code. Now, specifically, libBitcoin adds some additional functionality that AirBitz uses. And so you can think of it as SPV or a simplified payment verification, but there's some additional functionality. So basically, it's connecting to libBitcoin network nodes out on the Bitcoin network. I believe OpenBazaar is going to be using libBitcoin, and I believe Dark Wallet / Dash now is also using libBitcoin. So while AirBitz is running some of these to make sure that they're available, it's not required for AirBitz to run those. The last one is this storage network. Now, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this, but this is something that's ran by AirBitz, and we talked about those extra transaction details. You categorize it, add notes, all that extra details you're adding about Bitcoin transactions is going into this this storage network here. Now, this is ran by AirBitz, but the crypto is handled very well here. Everything's encrypted before getting sent out here. So I'm not even going to really talk about this pretty much past this point. Basically, everything is very well encrypted when it hits here. So there's no risk in any of this getting lost, or even though AirBitz keeps all this private, even if it was out in the open, there's really pretty much zero risk. Just how Bitcoin, your public key, is out in the open, it's pretty much the same thing with this stuff over here. And then again, even if this was gone, AirBitz can still send and receive transaction. It just can't pull that extra metadata details. So your coins will always be safe, but this extra functionality is what makes it, adds to a very nice user experience for especially a new Bitcoin user or even an advanced Bitcoin user that's trying to track those transaction details. Okay. So from a security point of view, again, the AirBitz does a very good job. They've put a lot of thinking into how to do this right. And I don't think you could have done a better job with just username, password, PIN than what these guys did. I mean, there's some slight tweaks, but in terms of how they implement the login process. Okay, so just one last overview. The login and the password are used directly to derive. Well, first, a master key is created on the iPhone or on the device, and this is encapsulated with AES 256, and that the key to unlock this is directly derived from the login and password. So login and password unlock this encapsulation of this master key. So the good news is the core Bitcoin key is very, very secure. It's 256 bits or 100 full random bits of Bitcoin key. So any transactions, your private key is safe. Now this locked up, when we encapsulate your private key, this encapsulated private key does get sent up to the Authentication Server. And so up here we have, in the Authentication Server, we have your master key, but it is encapsulated with that AES 256. Now, how is the login and password verified, or how do you log into this guy? Basically, one nice thing is that they've done on the SQL Server is when you send your login credentials, you actually, instead of sending your login directly, you're sending a hash of your login. Now, so we'll call this, they actually call it L1. Now, it's very common to send a hash password, but I've actually never seen this done in the standard user password database. but L1 is a hash of your login. So you never send your actual login to the SQL server. He doesn't have any way of knowing the login, your login. You would have to, brute force your login. Now, also your password on the wire is sent as, we'll call it P1, is sent up. And that's a hash of your password. But they go, what's actually stored on your authentication server is P1 prime. So, best practice for password storage is to take a hash password or basically salt your password and hash it. But they go one step further. They take your hash password, salt it, hash it again, and store that along with the salt. So if you followed that, basically, what's cool about hashing the login is now if this were ever to leak, you would have your login that's hashed and your password, but you can't even. A lot of these accounts will have very minimal Bitcoin in them. A lot of them may be empty. People who signed up never transferred anything in. And you could even potentially, as a mitigation, flood this with a whole bunch of fake accounts. And so you'd first have to brute force logins to try and target, if you wanted to target specific individuals, you would need to first brute force their login to even know who they were. Then because the password storage is salted, you have to do a per user brute force on the password. So this follows all the best practices of password storage that there is out there, and even more, because I've never actually seen a hashed L1 or hashed login. So very good from, that's your standard login. Now, when you log in, it also can enforce, two-factor authentication, which basically embeds Google Authenticator into your device, and now it'll only accept, for this particular login, will only accept logins from this device, unless this private key in the built-in Google Authenticator is shared with another device, or you request it to be reset and wait that 7 days. Now, in that 7-day period, one thing I didn't mention is if someone tries to reset your two-factor, then your phone, if you still have it, and someone's trying to do this as an attack vector, you're going to get an alert on your phone that they're trying to reset your two-factor, and you can stop it. Okay, so that's kind of the standard. And you see up here, since we have the login and the password, we can now, from another device, we can say, hey, I want to log in, and if I have the right login and password, this will get sent down to the end user. Now the cool thing is that since I'm only on the wire, only L1 and P1 get sent across the wire. So even though this is all in a SSL tunnel, even if for some reason this could be intercepted or this guy was compromised, you're never sending your login or your password to this guy. Now, what actually unlocks this is they use a different hash algorithm on your. So what actually unlocks this package is LP2. So it's your login plus your password with a different hash algorithm is what the 2 signifies there. And that's what actually unlocks this package. So you use the login password, get it here. This guy sends MK down here, and you unlock it with a different hash. So again, very well thought out process here. And what's great is that this took no code research. I could just read this right off their website because it's all in black and white, very well documented. I've never seen anyone else's, or very rarely has anyone else document these kinds of processes to the level that AirBitz did. So I have high confidence because they're putting it all out there, laid out, that this, it's implemented very well. Okay, so now the PIN, we'll talk about now recovery question. I'm just kind of trying to do this in one take. So I believe the recovery question is almost a drop-in replacement for password. The key thing I would say about recovery question is you've got to remember the exact response because this is being hashed, and so it's got to be letter for letter, uppercase, lowercase. I mean, it's possible they're taking that out. I don't know if they're taking case into account here, but it's got to be. You have to remember this exactly to be able to unlock it as well with your password recovery questions. So let's talk about the PIN. Now the PIN is really cool because while there's a little bit of a compromise. Let's talk about what the compromise is. In every website, we've seen time and time and again, websites try to protect their password databases, but ultimately they do get out. Now, AirBitz, depending on how big they get, could be a big target, and we have to assume at some point this database gets leaked. Now, they're doing very best practices in password storage, so that does a lot to mitigate the effect of this being out in the open. I guess even users can still pick really bad usernames and passwords. This is the only problem. So let's say you've got a user and they pick the user, test123. That could probably get brute forced. And then the password I picked in my example today, I don't know if that could get brute forced, but ones that could be easily brute forced is if someone uses like a phrase from a passage in the Bible or something from a movie. Those very easily hit the minimum password requirements, but often are very easy to break as well. Or any password ever been used that has been leaked in the past is ripe to be brute forced very easily. So even with I guess the level of script they put on here is very difficult to do many passes. But if anyone does a really bad job of their username and password, and some amount of effort, some users' stuff could fall. So I guess the big takeaway from all of this is you still need to have a fairly strong username and password. And I would even venture to say with AirBitz specifically, if you use a strong username, don't use the username that you use for everyday stuff, but use a strong username and then a decently strong password. If you use strong login and password, this system is very, very, very secure, and you can put almost as much Bitcoin in here as you want. So let's okay. So I kind of got sidetracked on that, but let's the PIN number. Now you have to follow me as close as you can on the PIN. So the PIN starts out with creating another like huge random number, a like 256-bit random key. And so this is just like MK. This guy is created on the device. And then this is going to be immediately encrypted. So this is going to be encrypted with the PIN number. Let me think about that. So that's not quite right. It's going to be encrypted with the login plus the PIN number, and a hash of the login and PIN is going to be the encryption key for this guy. So this guy, and then this guy here, another copy of your MK is created. And this is the pink. This is the key to unlock MK. Okay? So pink is the secret key that unlocks this guy. And then, pink is a super high entropy. So this guy, even if someone gets your device, well, let's step back a second. So this whole package, this encrypted package, gets moved up to the server. So you have your sensitive pink that's wrapped in the crypto of your login plus your PIN. And then this stuff is deleted off or overwritten and deleted off your device. Okay? So now when you go to log in with your PIN number, what happens is you plug in your PIN number, and your login and your PIN is sent up to the SQL server. And the SQL server, then you have 3 tries to get your PIN number correct. And if you get your PIN number correct, it then sends this package here down into your wallet. And even though the server up here can decode this pink, because if it gets actually it gets a hash of your login and PIN, so it wouldn't even be able to decode this because the a different hash decodes it, so they can't even get this. Now this gets sent down here and it unlocks your master key. So now we break this into 2 attack vectors. One, I say I steal your device and I somehow get a jailbreak on here. I can read all your memory. I can, even if I can read all of the storage and all the in-memory stuff of the AirBitz app, all I'm going to see in there is this guy encrypted with this key. And remember, this key, pink, is a very high entropy key, just as secure as MK itself is at encrypting, keeping your Bitcoin wallet safe. So there's no way I would have to steal your device and hack into the server and then brute force your PIN, brute force your login plus your PIN to make this work. And so the likelihood of being able to get the device and the server at the same time, very, 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 very low. Now let's say I get the server. Let's say login plus PIN. Oh, maybe that could be brute force, okay? But now I get a secret PIN that this is now the actual encrypted stuff is down here, and this is just the key that unlocks MK on the device. But the data bytes, the encrypted package, is still down here on the device. So losing this whole SQL server up here is no risk at all. So again, and now this, some PIN login schemes I've seen on some other apps, specifically Breadwallet, which we'll go into next, is everything's on the device. So if you lose your device, the PIN may be the weak link in that whole security model. And in AirBitz, I'd say the whole weak link in the security model is this database getting released, which, again, if you have a strong login and password, you're still safe, you're fine. But if you have a weak login and password, that's when you start to have trouble, even in the AirBitz system, okay? And, I mean, the recovery questions use the same type of crypto and hash methods to make that possible. And everything's, if you want to read through this step by step on the AirBitz website, they have it all laid out very clearly and nicely. I guess the final thoughts are, there's 2 final thoughts. One, username and password, hiding kind of that, hey, this is high crypto scare factor, like, here's your 12 random words, write these down, you cannot reset your password. Hiding that is maybe good, but maybe bad. It's good if users remember their password and the recovery questions, or one of the 2. But the challenge is, even with recovery questions, users still may forget their password and the recovery questions. And there's just no, I guess the problem is, if you present a username and password, people expect the same experience they expect with banks and other websites they're familiar with. There's some way, even if I can't get my recovery questions, I can call in and do something, and maybe someone can help me get this. With this, it's not. If you forget your password and your recovery questions, I mean, you're screwed. There's no way. Um, I mean, you're out of luck. And to hide that, to mask it, is both good. It's great that they're able to do this and still provide very high level of security, but also bad because users may fall into the trap of assuming this is just like any other service. On the other hand, if we say, here's 12 words. You don't get to pick your password. This is your password. This is your recovery password. Write this down or you may lose it. Maybe that's a flag that says, hey, this is serious. I can't, this is different. Maybe I need to take this serious. But then again, maybe not. So, some users have forgot or lost their 12-word password, recovery passwords as well, or 12. There's plenty of stories about people losing their Bitcoin passwords and their Bitcoin recovery keys and all of that. So there is no perfect answer. What these guys put together is very compelling, and I love the extra metadata and all that stuff. It makes it a very usable wallet, and I'm kind of, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag quite yet, but I'm kind of leaning towards AirBitz as my kind of go-to wallet. So I guess that's it. Actually, one last comment. Pins. Oh, 4-digit pins? Really? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about a 4-digit pin. The thing is, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 0, 0, 0. Those two guesses, I think, gives you like a 14% chance of guessing correctly the pin number. Of if people are just asked to come up with a random pin. And that's too high of a percentage in my opinion. If you're going to use a 4-digit pin, I'd say block 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe even all the four digits repeated. Block those. That's blacklist those 11 pins, and then maybe 4 digits is better. Is a lot better. At least their model, they're going out to an external server that can shut down if people are trying to again three tries and you're out. You can't get that pin. So I would love to see a 5-digit pin, and still maybe block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 digits repeated. But it's again they're going for a ease of use model. So all right, that's it. I've rambled on for 25 minutes now, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like this, you can click here and go download the AirBitz app. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this. All right, thank you.